Palm Beach State College. Hold, please. I am the facilities manager for the Boca Raton campus of Palm Beach State College, and just have a very brief PowerPoint as to what we did during COVID, you know, before everyone returned, and hopefully we can share some ideas here. Hopefully I'll be able to provide some ideas for your institutions or for you to take back to your institutions for use of CARES Act funds. And feel free, by all means, please share whatever it is that your institution has done. Can someone, I've completely lost the Zoom screen and all of the people that are on camera. Can everyone see my presentation?
No, we do not see your presentation.
Okay, thank
you. Now we see it. Oh, no, we don't.
All right, let's try it again. Share screen. There we go. Can we see it now?
There you go. Yep.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. All righty. So this was obviously after we returned, but while, you know, during the pandemic, when we shut down in March of 2020, we were completely shut down. Everyone was gone. The only people that were on my campus, I can't speak for the other campuses, was facilities and security. So we in facilities took this as a grand opportunity. We did not know how long we were going to be shut down. For conversation purposes, our staff did not return until September. And that was a partial return of staff. So we had months and months and months to prepare for the return so everyone felt safe and comfortable. And we also took it as an opportunity, like I said, in order to get a lot of you know, back burner items done. You know, things that we could do, but we couldn't get to in student occupied areas, some fairly serious repairs that we needed to get done. So when we found out that we were going to start returning in the fall, we went around and we started setting up everything, you know, basically to make everybody safe. So plexiglass was a big thing. We spent a fortune on plexiglass. So we use that CARES Act funds for that. And basically what the CARES Act says in a nutshell is anything above and beyond your normal operating costs that you're doing to improve your institutions and make them a safe institution to come back, you can submit for CARES Act funding. So one of the things we submitted for was plexiglass, and we put plexiglass everywhere. These two pictures are our student services or our registration and admission areas in our administration building. So as you can see, these are not, can you see my cursor, my mouse? These are not floating signs. These are actually on the plexiglass. We put plexiglass up, we put plexiglass in the middle here. We created these as Zoom stations so the advisors did not have to meet with students face-to-face. They met with them virtually face-to-face. The advisors were in the offices over here and the students were out here on their Zoom stations. Another thing, signs. We put up signage everywhere. Anything from, you know, learning, giving instructions on how to wash your hands properly, protocols for elevator. We had social distancing signage. We put signage out. You know, we got some big wraparound signs that went around flag poles and telephone poles. And this was all submitted for CARES Act funding. Another thing we did was we created directional traffic. So here you see a sign that says entrance only. These are the CDC signs. This is before we got our signs made from college relations and marketing. This is actually a college relations and marketing sign here, these social distancing signs. We also took some additional rooms, like this right here is our student club area. What we did was we put our Center for Student Accessibility staff in there. And we created directional flows of traffic and standing points 6 feet apart with the pause in order to create social distance. The cafeteria was completely shut down. So we just moved all the tables and chairs together and put signs on those so nobody would congregate in that area. And again, all the signage was submitted for CARES Act funding. Personal protective equipment. This was a big one. We are overflowing on the Boca Raton campus with PPE. We submitted everything, masks, face shields, gloves, hand sanitizer. I mean, you name it. And every institution has pretty much done the same with this, or at least the institutions that I've visited have done the same. Maybe not to the extent of Palm Beach State College, but we at one time had the highest COVID rate in the state. So we were very, very proactive in getting all of this stuff in place before our staff returned. Again, we just wanted to create a very safe and healthy environment for everyone to return. All right, so now this is where we started thinking outside of the box with regard to COVID and indoor air quality. So these are screenshots of our energy management system. I don't know if any of your institutions use this. I'm sure they do of one type of or another, but we use a continuum. So this is a screenshot of the Lake Worth chiller plant. The chiller plant is basically where your air conditioning starts. We create cold water. The cold water goes to the buildings. It goes through an air handler. The cold water cools the air down, blows it out. That's a basic overview of how your air conditioning works. So this is this is a screenshot of the air conditioning system from one of the buildings going all the way down to what's called a VAV, which is the controller for the air in that area. So you could put those either in a classroom or you could put those in a general area, say a hallway, and that would create the cold air for that section. So this is just a diagnostic tool. And the reason I put that up is because we started thinking, okay, how can we improve the indoor air quality? Again, using CARES Act funding. So one of the things we did was all the way to the left is we used MERV 8 filters. MERV stands for Minimum Efficiency Reporting Values. And what the MERV rating on a filter tells you is what type of particulates and the size of those particulates that are being taken or removed from the air. So MERV 8 was a 3.0 particle size. We moved up to MERV 13 filters, which are not actually on here, but they take out down to 0.5 microns of particulate size, again, through CARES Act funding, because this is above and beyond our normal operating cost. The air handlers that we could not retrofit because we did not have or they did not make MERV 13 filters in that size, we chemically treated those in order to, again, create that raised MERV rating in order to remove all the particulates from the air. Now, all the way to the right is a picture of a, what the heck is this thing called again? A bipolar ionization unit. Okay, so what we did was we installed these directly into the air conditioning system. And what bipolar ionization does is it takes infrared light or ultraviolet light, I'm sorry, and it will kill, it has been proven to kill the COVID virus. And we installed these in almost 40% of our air handlers across the college, and we're continuing to do so, again, using CARES Act dollars. Another thing we did was we went out and we bought Hepa filters. The Hepa filters we mounted in every single classroom across the college. I do not know the status of the other campuses. I know the Boca Raton campus has been done. Not only did we put them in the classrooms, but we also put them inside of general student occupied areas, such as the administration building, which was in the first slide. We put a few in there. And it's got the in-room display is interactive. So you can actually go up and change the display. The display setting that is being shown right now is what we generally like to keep it set on. So people can actually come in and see how clean their air is. This unit will actually turn over the air inside of the room in less than 4 hours time. Or I'm sorry, it turns it over four times in an hour. Excuse me, I apologize for the mistake. The displays can also, they're also a maintenance display. So if there's some kind of issue within the unit, it will tell you on the display. Again, these were probably about, I would say on average cost about $1,750 per unit. So you can imagine the cost on that. Again, this is something that was submitted for CARES Act funding. The Iaq Guard. Iaq stands for indoor air quality. This is something that we got for everyone's, or for all of the hallways in the buildings. So the Iaq Guard is an interactive dashboard that is actually accessible for staff. So you can look on this Iaq Guard and you can look in certain buildings in certain areas, and it will tell you temperature, relative humidity, carbon dioxide, volatile organic compounds, and then micron particulates that are floating around in the air. We currently have these in about 50% of our buildings. And again, this was submitted through CARES Act funding. So then the IT team got involved, and the IT team took this and ran with it. And when we started having students return with our enrollment being down, we needed to create different modalities in order for our students to be serviced. Some students just didn't want to return, as some staff did, or some faculty did not want to return either. Some faculty actually during the pandemic would come in, but we didn't find the current setups of the room conducive for them to, basically do what I'm doing right now, sit in front of a laptop and try to teach, and then use all of their, things in the classroom. So IT came along and said, okay, well, we can upgrade a lot of these things and submit these for CARES Act dollars. And that's exactly what they did. So these are pictures of our new interactive lecterns. And these are lecterns that you could actually either sit down or stand up at, and they work in conjunction with a display like the one on the blue wall here. And you'll see other things that were added to the room in the next slide that I show, in order for students to actually interact while in the classroom, as well as participate online. Now you'll notice here down at the bottom in the one with the blue wall, there's a nice big spot on the carpet. We found out that we could actually, we being the facilities department, found out that we could actually submit for new flooring using CARES Act funds. And how did we justify this? We justified it because it will increase the indoor air quality. A lot of matter gets trapped in these carpets, and a lot of our carpets, especially in some of our older buildings, are very old. So all of these rooms, and we are doing at Palm Beach State approximately 275 to 300 rooms college-wide. They will all, everyone that's getting the IT upgrades, unless they have the linoleum floors, which we can strip and clean, will most likely be getting new carpeting, again, submitted through CARES Act funding. Another thing we took the advantage of doing when we were redoing these rooms was we added a little color to the rooms. Our rooms were just white. They were very antiseptic. So we picked 3 different accent wall colors. And, this wasn't covered under CARES Act, obviously. This was just something that facilities committed to, and, just trying to give the place a facelift. So another one of the upgrades here, you see some of our associate deans speaking with one of the vendors. Ceiling tiles. This was another thing that we were able to submit through CARES Act funding. Again, new ceiling tile or old ceiling tiles have a lot of dust and a lot of particulates in them. So we submitted for new ceiling tiles through the CARES Act funding, and justified it by increasing indoor air quality. You can see here, there's a camera. This is a camera that will actually follow the instructor. There's another one here. This is our computer engineering room. Nice. This is our third accent wall, or third accent color here. So this camera will actually, this is the instructor station. This camera will zoom in on the instructor, and it can also broadcast anything that's on the TV. Again, in order to work with those different modalities, whether it be live online, whether it be completely virtual, or whether it be a hybrid model. Another thing the IT team did is right here, you'll see a microphone hanging down. So if the instructor's walking through, there's no loss of sound. These are speakers, so they can hear people that are talking through Zoom. So it's a completely interactive setup. And again, these were all submitted through CARES Act funding. And that is pretty much the end of the conversation, or the end of the PowerPoint. We have been very fortunate to have a lot of time in order to get a lot of these things done. And I'd like for people, if you're comfortable, to come on camera and maybe unmute so we can have a discussion, because I would love to take back some of the things that you guys have done from your CARES Act funds, and bring those back to our institution, because we're all in this together. And hopefully my presentation was something that you could take a couple of things from and take back to your institution. So far I see 3 Palm Beach people, so you guys already know what we're doing around campus. I'd love to hear what you're doing on the different campus, on the other campuses, by the way. It's so weird being, going from district to campus based that, I don't get out and get to see everybody on a regular interval.
At the College of Central Florida, we did the plexiglass shields as well. In a lot of our places, we have them actually on our desks. So we were still seeing, at the beginning, we were seeing them in our lobby and distancing and talking to them because we have computers. But now we do have the plexiglass shields at each of our desks. So they do come into our office now. Okay.
Yeah, we decided in individual offices, unless they were going to meet for, meet with people on a very regular basis, like our campus registrar and things like that, they receive plexiglass shields. The faculty really hasn't asked for anything, at least on my campus, really hasn't asked for anything like that. We offered them face shields instead, like the individual face shields, and they seem to be very comfortable with that. I know, especially, while the preparations were going on, I had the opportunity to present to faculty shortly before they came back. We had an all faculty meeting, and I put my cell phone number in the chat, and I said, listen, if you guys have any questions, comments, any needs, any concerns, give me a call, and I'll be happy to give you a tour of the campus. And I did this with probably about, 10 or 15 of our professors. And they were very pleased. Some of them had health issues. Some of them were just plain scared. Some of them didn't want to come back. But once they saw what we were doing, and I informed them of what we were going to do moving forward, it gave them a sense of comfort. And, it's really been a very successful transition back to the office and back to the classroom for us.
Yes. So at the beginning, whenever we were at the height, we met in the computer lab, like across the way from advising, and then in the lobby. And now only like halfway through this year, we started meeting them back in the offices one-on-one, but it gives you some sense of security as well.
When did the College of Central Florida staff come back to campus? I know you guys closed down probably about the same time we did.
Yep, we rotated beginning October. So we had a half in, half out schedule coming October. And then we all came back in July, I want to say, full time.
Yeah, one thing I would definitely do when you go back to work is contact your facilities people, and just let them know what we were doing, and maybe even make touch with your IT people and let them know what we're doing. And if they're not doing it already, the CARES Act dollars run out in, I believe it's the end of April.
Yeah, I made a note of everything that you implemented and the reasons that you were able to do it. So I'm definitely going to mention that.
Okay, yeah, and I can also, if you put your email in the chat, I can go ahead and send you a copy of the PowerPoint. It's just, you could briefly go through it. It's not really anything too difficult to figure out.
Thank you.
So, you're very welcome. Hi, Doreen. I just saw you come on camera.
Yes, here at Eastern Florida State College in admissions, we had a big common space. We used the individual plexi as well, of course, but to be fair, our stations prior to COVID were not conducive, were not acceptable at all. They were only 5 feet wide, then a cubicle, and then a 5 feet, because we're admissions. So we sit with one student and move them on. Our CARES money was able to afford a spacing, which was great, higher cubicle walls to kind of mitigate the traveling particles, that sort of thing. And then what we found very helpful is also when they did redesign it, they did a circular pattern to show the 6 feet spacing of each person, but our student chair is now 6 feet back, and there is a portable desk for them. We first envisioned something like a ladies will understand this from a ladies' restroom, like a fold down tabletop where they can sign their documents. Of course, we are much more electronic. Everybody learned that during COVID that we can be electronic with our documents. But for the hard copy ones, we do have a little portable table, and that has been of great assistance. But I did miss the beginning of this, and I'm sorry about that, Ray. So are you sharing the recording with us? Can you email that to us?
Yeah, actually, Eileen says that it's available for download in the WOVA app.
Okay, perfect.
So perfect. you can certainly download it. You know, probably the most important part that I wanted to share was the IT portion, because I was very surprised. You know, IT contacted us because we're doing a lot of the infrastructure work, we being facilities. You know, we're running the power for all these new stations. We've got to, and we wanted to upgrade all the spaces specifically with the IT upgrades, because we don't want somebody to come into, you know, just this old drab classroom and all of a sudden you got all this great technology, but you got your plain white walls and your dirty carpets. We thought outside of the box in every way, shape, or form, picked and pilfered from people across the country. And I think we came up with a pretty good solution to go ahead and you know, just make the place a little bit more fancy, you know, bring us up into the modern times. Nice. When did you guys closed down in March as well, right?
We did, and admissions was the student seeing part of admissions was back pretty readily, and then full time we came back in July. All staff.
What have you noticed that has been done differently other than the plexiglass as you walk around campus?
So of course we do floor markings. We did, you know, just all of that. I think that individuals tend to be very respectful of it. The policies, it does. I think I can back up what everybody else says. I think we're all seeing the same sort of situation. We have the very fear, you know, it's the full spectrum, very, very fearful. They're not on campus. I still talk to students today that they have a fragile or a compromised family member, and they're never going to come back until they feel confident, and that's okay. You know, we got to meet them at their need. So we have the full spectrum. And I just wanted to mention that I'm so sorry, I got distracted by a phone call, but did I answer your question, Ray?
Okay. Yes, you did. Eileen just posted a downloadable link for the PowerPoint in the chat.
Thank you very much.
Carol, I see you in the chat, but I don't see you on the screen. What are you guys doing up at Santa Fe? Oh, I see your redfish.
What are we doing up at Santa Fe? Well, we still have all the plexiglass and all that good stuff around here too. We have removed our floor markings. Okay. Lots of masks still in the classrooms.
Yeah, we provide. Originally, our policy was to not provide any PPE to students. We bought, at least for my campus, an overabundance of PPE. For some reason, we did it as a district, and then it was sent out to the other campuses. And I've got so much that we're giving it out at student events. We provide them to the instructors and to all the advisors and to all the, you know, the student services clubs, and, you know, there's masks everywhere. So, and the students are, for the large part, which is surprising to me, it's probably about 70-30 of students not wearing masks. All of the staff and all of the faculty do, but the students in a large part just aren't doing it, and they're perfectly comfortable. I mean, our reports of positive exposures have gone down exponentially. So it's, you know, we feel like we've created a very safe environment and a very comfortable environment for everybody to return. How long were you guys closed down for up there?
So we closed down on March 17th of 2020, and I came back to work on campus May the 10th of 2021.
Wow. Okay, that's quite a while.
We had only one person cover the office starting back in the fall, but one person per day. So we each were only here 1 day per week. But
Okay.
full time, we came back May the 10th.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing.
Mhm.
Is there anyone else that would like to unmute and share what's been done at your institutions?
Sure. Hi, I'm Steve.
Hi,
Sorry,
Steve.
sorry about the camera right now, but I can't do
No
that.
problem. What college do you work for, Steve?
Hillsborough.
Okay.
Hillsborough College. Now I work in workforce, so my experience is slightly different from many other people who are on this call because we were in person. And if for those who don't know, there were some rules and regulations related to federal funding, that state and federal funding that tied to workforce continuing as it was. If you had, so I've been at work since June 8th of 2020.
Mhm.
So I really didn't have a whole lot of time off. We were only allowed to do so much online education for about 90 days before we had to go back in person. So a lot of people go, what? When I tell them that, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know what that whole year at home was like because I didn't have that experience. But we did a lot of PPE distribution, a ton of PPE, and we had to do a lot of disinfection. We had to do check-ins, checkouts. We had a whole format that we were doing on that end because we had people coming in on a daily basis. We had limited outside vendors, limited exposures. Our facility is about 200 students. And then we had there was also our health sciences area. There were 2 areas that came back right away because of clinicals and things of that nature. But we had a lot of plexi put up just about everywhere, like you said. And our college just finished doing the implementation of most of the rooms. I don't know how many we did in total, but I know that there were at least about 200 across the college that they did the implementation to the hybrid classroom like you did. The only thing we don't have that you seem to have is we did not purchase the self-following camera stuff, I guess, apparently that was just too much. But we didn't do the self-rising. I'm jealous of those self-rising desks. I wish we had, the convertible desks. That would have been nice. And we did not buy. The only thing is, and this is, don't tell anybody if anybody on HCC is here, but the only bad thing I have is we did not buy new computers. And so put all that nice new technology in 5-year-old computers and see how well it works. I wish we had just gone ahead and bought the new computers to go along with it because we're re-imaging a bunch of old computers to work with it. But otherwise, I think we've done fairly well. A lot of our money went to our case management, which we'll probably present on that at some point because we did a great job with case management. But we also did kiosks in every building of the campus of the college. So we had kiosks at the main entrance for every building across the college, which had masks and it had masks, a thermometer, a self-usable thermometer and stuff, so that folks could take their own temperatures and watch their own, because we weren't doing that for everybody. We were only doing that for the classes where people had to interact, like labs that could not be, that came back in the fall, and workforce courses where they had to kind of share, or like law enforcement, like when they had to do, because folks don't realize, in law enforcement classes that they have to do defensive tactics where they have to touch somebody. They can't get away with not touching somebody. They have to do that as a state requirement. So we had to test those students 2-3 times a day, because, the worst case scenario is you were face to face with somebody and touching them all yesterday, and then they pop positive the next day. And then you have to, and they touched 4 or 5 different people in class. So we had to think of strategies to deal with that too. But
yeah, the contact tracing and all that, I get that. So
but I love what you're doing with the classrooms. And are you going, and I'm curious, facility wise, are you going with this floor that everybody else is getting, or are you getting carpet squares? Like
We're doing
talking about the non-waxing floor that looks like wood that everybody is kind of going with these. I'm forgetting who the vendor is. You know, but
Yeah,
you know what I'm probably talking about.
Yeah, I do, and that's why I'm smiling. That's a very trendy thing, and we actually
Yeah.
just refurbished a building where we put those in.
Yeah.
We've got multiple options. My preference would be just white because white is very easily maintained.
Yeah.
And it's clean. It makes the space shine. You know, it's a very nice aesthetic when you walk in and you've got all this new stuff going on. You got nice bright white floors, and maybe that's just a personal thing, I don't know, but from a facilities management standpoint, very easy to take care of. We are going to go with carpet squares though, and again, from a facilities management standpoint, they're very easy to maintain. I love carpet squares because if you get a stain, you just go pull that square up, slap another square down, you're good to go. It'll eventually blend in with all the other carpet, you know, and it's great. So, and we've got, like I said, multiple options. So there were a few things that you touched on that I made some notes here while you were speaking. So the computers, we did get new computers with this. All the rooms that have had the, you know, some of the rooms we've just put cameras and speakers and microphones in the ceiling. We didn't do a gigantic upgrade. However, the ones that are getting the new Lecterns, a lot of those are getting new computers. We're using the same monitors, but we're getting all updated hardware, and that's all being done through CARES Act funding. Disinfection was another point that you brought up, specifically with the positive exposure. So we have to go above and beyond when we do that. And the way, and this is all covered through CARES Act as well, the way Palm Beach State handles it is we will have the room disinfected. It has to be at least 24 hours. So if it's that day, we can't do it that very night. We have to wait until the next day, so we close the class down. But then we have a team go in and thoroughly disinfect the area. And then my team comes in the very next morning and disinfects the air handlers that take care of that area. And by disinfection, what I mean is they physically crawl into the air handler. We disinfect all the surfaces on the air handler and we put a new filter in there. And then, you know, on top of that, you got the Hepa filters in the space. So everything is thoroughly disinfected. And again,
yeah, we didn't do that. We had foggers. Our campus, our cleaning is done by Sodexo on contract, and the cleaning we used the non-corrosive whatever. I don't know the exact. I know it if I dig, but we use fogging systems.
We've transitioned over to that as well because it was taking a lot of man hours to do that, and we found through this, we partnered with Pure Air. And through the partnership with Pure Air, we were able to get basically scientific advice from their scientists. And the foggers are just as effective as wiping down. In addition, like you said, it's non-corrosive. So the mist that comes out is non-corrosive, so it's not as harsh on the sides of the air handler. And you also mentioned kiosks, and the kiosks, we had those set up as well. So we had one classroom on campus that was open, and it's our large multimedia hall in our humanities building. The normal seating capacity in this space is 220 with distancing and set up for live online and remote classes. We fit 28 students in this space. And we had a kiosk set up. They would go in, they would check in, there would be hand sanitizer there, and then you'd go into the classroom. We also have a massage therapy program. Similar to your program, they have to have contact hours as well. Our massage therapy program on my campus actually uses a lot of the local population to come in, and so that students can get their contact hours. Well, the contact hours, what is it? Oh, yes, it is one of our affiliate members, Eileen. In order for the students to get the contact hours and for them to feel comfortable, they were just performing massages on themselves or on each other. So they were the most relaxed group on campus. It is definite, and we also took their the tables. We had 12 tables in their area, which is a fairly large area, and we took half of the tables and put them into our aerobics room. So we had the aerobics room set up as a secondary massage therapy area. And the reason we chose the aerobics room, 1, it was large, 2, it was empty, but 3, most importantly, they had access to water. So, you know, it seems like we've pretty much done the same things at our institutions. As far as not your program, I know you said you were back in June of 2020, but the rest of the college, when did they come back? Did they come back in the fall?
Yeah, mostly fall. Yeah, there were some classes, labs, you know, like chem labs, bio labs, things like that. They started coming back in January. But only those specific classes. Okay. And then everybody else really started coming back second half of summer. There was kind of a weird date. It was like June 28th or something. Okay. Like that, about second half of summer session. Wow. And then we came back full in the fall.
Okay. Thank you.
But we were still about 50. We were about, I want to say we were going toward like a 50-50 second half of summer, and then fall we went to about 70-30.
Okay.
Yeah, about that.
Great. Thank you. Oh, wow. You were back full-time June and July of 2021, Alicia? Is that full-time everyone or full-time staff?
Yeah, everyone was back.
Okay. Wow, that seems like a really long time. You guys were, what was your COVID rate in the county?
I don't know that number.
Okay.
Yeah, I just know we did like a rotation in October, and then we were asked in January to come back, but some areas were able to rotate because they had a lot of high traffic, and then everyone, all departments were back June, July.
Okay. Joan, are you guys doing anything differently on the Lake Worth campus like I described in Boca? I think you might be muted. I can't hear you. You know sign language? Is there anyone else from any other institution that would like to share?
Ray, this is Dr. Chandra from Palm Beach State.
Hi, Dr. Chandra. How are you?
Hi, good. First of all, kudos and congrats on all the great work you and your team. And I'm sure they are doing the same in Lake Worth, and hope to see some of those, you know, eventually finished in all the buildings and classrooms, so we can breathe some better, more fresh air. And thanks to join this, my first annual conference. I was at the chapter conference earlier, and it has been great. I had a full day, thoroughly enjoyed listening to all who are here, learning from others. And I just have a quick question or a suggestion or a thought. As we invest all the care funds indoors, have you thought of, or have you done, I have proposed this also to Lake Worth, can we invest anything in outdoor spaces where people could gather in small groups for a small meeting or a conversation or for a break, like an amphitheater or something like, you know, permanent structures or temporary structures, maybe meet for lunch, and that will be a good thing to look into or consider.
You know, I'm glad you asked that question. So with the money that we're actually saving, because a lot of the stuff that we would normally be doing, as far as like, you know, like ceiling tiles and carpets is a good example. That would normally come out of our operating budget. Sure. So now we're trying to take that and actually create some more interactive outdoor spaces. Like a good example on the Boca Raton campus, I was speaking with Provost Williams, and we're looking about putting one of the campuses up in, I don't remember where it was, in Madison, North Florida State College in Madison, Florida. Their campus is done in a giant square. So they have this grand lawn in between all of their classrooms or classroom buildings, and they've got gazebos everywhere. So I brought the idea back to Provost Williams. I'm like, you know, we've got this giant green space between our administration and our classroom buildings. Let's put a large gazebo there. So, and, you know, we invested in picnic tables, benches. We got all kinds of stuff for people to be outside. But as far as using that CARES Act dollars for that, since it is outside, we can't justify that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I was proposing that idea to Lake Worth, and also now I'm on the Return to Campus Task Force since a few weeks, facilitated by Joan with Dr. Parker letting me in. So I'm being one of the science spaces there. The other thing is like, I like the green fields, the gym at the John Prince State Park. And that was another thing I recommended, to open up an outdoor gym. They have special discounts for schools and colleges in the long-term plan as we move forward. So I just wanted to share my thought. And I have a class in a minute, so I just came to congratulate you and listen to all of you. So thanks again.
Well, I appreciate your comments. Thank you very much. And I do like the outdoor gym. I'm going to take that back and see what we can do with that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. If there is any... who is that? Is that you, Dalila?
Yeah.
Hi.
You asked what we do at Lake Worth. I can speak from my little area. I know we do have the plexiglass. In my office, I'm an advisor in an enclosed small office. So I did request the plexiglass on my desk, which I do have. So, we do have several here in small offices and closed offices.
Okay, good. Well, I don't know if any of the things that we've done, college-wide, or any of the things that I showed you today has been presented to any of you guys, as far as the measures that facility's taken. So I'm glad at least some of the people on Lake Worth are here, so they can actually see what we've done. I mean, we took a lot of time and a lot of effort to make sure that you guys came back to an environment where you felt safe and where you felt comfortable. So.
Well, we've had conversations with Bob Priolo. We had consistently going on since we've been back, and that has been very helpful in keeping us informed of things like the filters and all that stuff.
Good.
Technical stuff that you mentioned. So that was good. It was helpful.
That's great. I'm glad to hear that. All right, unless there's anyone else that would like to share, I think I'm going to give you 15 minutes back in your day and we can end a little bit early.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you. And I hope that I helped, I hope that I gave you some helpful information to take back to your institutions and to share with your facilities and IT folk. Again, we've got very limited time left on these CARES Act funds. So, if you can do anything to improve your institutions, by all means, go for it. And on that, I will allow you guys to get running. Hi, Abby, I see you in the chat.
Y'all say you're done?
Yep.
Okay.
I told you it wouldn't take a full hour.